we think about making love or having sex, it's usually in a good time, when you're feeling happy and in the mood. But what if you're having sex or making love not in those types of moods? What about sex right after a horrible argument where you were berated and made to feel horrible? Does that seem normal or healthy to you? Why? Why is this happening? And why do so many people want to have sex or initiate sex during an argument or right after speaking some really hateful, mean things to you? Joining me today is Will, and we're going to be talking about this concept, why it happens, who does it, and what's the reason for it. Because I think sometimes these types of things go under the radar, you don't understand what's really happening, and if it's happening to you, it may leave you feeling confused, and just downright confused. So Will, let's talk about this. Let's deep dive into this concept.
Let's go into having a real fun conversation on this one. So yeah, sex is supposed to be great. It's supposed to be, it feels good for us. We do it because we want to feel good, right? That's who doesn't like an O? Everybody likes one. But it gets real fucked up when you're having this like drag out, and it may not be a drag out on both sides, but someone's attacking you, and they got it going, and they're full of energy, and they're acting super crazy, and then they want to end that argument or however they're feeling with sex, and it creates a real weird spot. I mean, confused, but like what in the world just happened? That's where you're left scratching your head. Like, what?
Very confusing.
Very confusing because you got all of this energy and anger, and this person's coming after you, and they want to solve it with some of the most wild, intense sex that you've ever had in your life. Very, it's confusing because it becomes addictive.
Can you think about the first time it happened to you in this last relationship?
It happened all the time because I'd fall into the rabbit hole.
Right.
So I can't name one specific time because it was, fuck you, let's fuck. It was very wild. But that's how it always ended. It always ended with, I hate you, you're the worst human being in the world, and I'd leave the house. Just get this, I'd leave the house. And then the barrage of text messages would come with all the nasty, nasty, nasty things. And when I'd finally stop answering, the last text message that I'd get would say, come have sex with me. So these people, they get so crazed and enraged in their own mind, it's their only way out. And then they drag you into it with them.
Right.
And I mean incredible sex. Some people may think like, there's all this porn out there. I lived it. It happened. And it's incredibly addictive, and it gives these people this out, and it damages you.
Because they're telling you all these things, they're saying all these things about you, they're berating you, they're telling you that you're a horrible person, they're breaking you down, they're cutting you down to size.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden they want to have sex.
They want that D, I'm telling you. And you find yourself in this elaborate trap because it gives them their out. So it excuses their behavior.
Allows them to do what they did,
That's right.
Allows them to say what they said. And
it's how they pay
okay.
you. It's how they pay you off for their behavior. It really is, and you fall into the trap because, like I said, who doesn't like an O? It does feel good.
But is there sometimes where, when you would agree to that, they
it
would
gets,
call you
it gets
a pervert or call you
yeah, it
out
gets
of
deeper
control?
than that. Now you're a pervert because you did this to me after the person asked you to do it to them.
Right.
I mean, it gets pretty friggin' kinky. I'm telling you, it's wild, and I know somebody out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. Somebody does, but at the same time, let's say just regular sex, right? And you're not feeling it. Right, so they're trying to make the move, and you're like, I'm just not feeling. I don't feel well today, or I'm not feeling it right now. Holy hell!
What happens then?
Oh my God! You don't like me? Am I unattractive? You don't love me? So you get really caught in this. I mean, it is a Pandora's box. You don't know what to do. Do I do this? Do I not do it? I'm going to get punished one way or the other. This person's going to rip me up, tear me a new one way or another. Either you do it, and you're a pervert, or you're a piece of shit.
Or you're using them.
Absolutely. You used me. Wait a minute. You used me.
Or abused.
Yeah. It really gets... and to this day, I've got some weird hang-ups because of going through that deal.
Can you talk about some of those hang-ups?
It's just... it's tough,
Do you worry about how, like now in the dating scene, how you worry about how women... about what would happen if you do have sex, or if they're asking for certain things? Or...
I'm mildly apprehensive about diving into it. I'm not going to go out and have a one-night stand, you know what I'm saying? But in my dating situation, I can sometimes be a little uncomfortable. Like, you can do whatever this is like real serious, deep down shit that I'm talking about. You can do whatever you want to me. Really? Really? I'm not comfortable with that because I've been there. Because you're dating. This isn't like a trust. I was married. I felt like I was in a trustful thing. And then I got burned by it. So you burn the shit out of your hand. You're going to go touch something that's hot? You're not. It leaves some hang-ups and some serious questions in what's going on, and do I want to do this with this person? And if I do this with this person, is it going to come back? Is this person going to weaponize sex, like sex was weaponized towards me in the past?
Well, and that's what it is that, it's like a currency.
Yeah, it's absolutely, it's how they pay the bill. I get to get away with this behavior, and then I get to do this to you. And either way, you're going to pay, but I've already paid.
Well, it also validates, too, I think, to some degree. It's like by having sex with them, I feel like they get validated by what they had said.
It's the reward system. Think about it. So they do this awful thing to you, and then they get out of doing the awful thing by getting the reward because it feels good. And they made you feel good, so you get trapped. It's an amazing, intricate trap, how it works. But they get away with it, and they've paid the currency to you.
Right.
You got yours, and then they can attack you with that later. It's a wild trap, but it does happen. It happened to me. I don't. That's how I can explain it. This happened to me, and I hope somebody else can see it when it's happening to them. Because if you get into this situation where you're having a blowout, drag out, you're the most awful person. You didn't even need to say anything, and that person ends that argument or conflict with the offering of sex. You are in deep, deep shit.
When you look back at that, if you could change that, and if you could say, hey, no, I'm not having sex with you, would you do that?
Yeah, you're almost powerless to it.
Really?
I've never done any hardcore drugs, but I would equate this to something cocaine-ish. Because sex can be incredibly addictive. And you're supposed to be in love with this person, right? And they say all these nasty things, and then either they end it by attacking you more, or I love you. It's a wild trap. And
it's like, or like if somebody's being attacked like that, and then the person wants to have sex, it's like you almost feel like, oh, they've gotten over it. Oh, I'm not a bad person, and almost like you.
It validates them, and it makes you feel. You end up doing it because it's going to end things.
Right.
Right. You want this situation to end. This is what they want, and you almost feel dirty at the end of it, like used. Like I shouldn't have done that, but you know what? I feel better because I'm not being attacked anymore. And you want that so badly to end, because if anybody out there is going through this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. It is like a never-ending barrage of bullshit that it's I just want this to end. It's too much. So the person says, "Come fuck me." You go fuck them. It's over. You go to sleep. Wait for the movie to start over, because this thing is gonna be repetitive.
What was your cycles like? When you look at that relationship cycles.
I could hold it together, maybe for a week.
Okay.
Maybe we could get away with it, but I had to distance myself. I had to bury myself in work. Come home, I don't know, drink 6 to 10 beers just to be comfortable in my own house. And when you do that, then they say there's a book out there about walking on eggshells. If anybody knows about that, that's a good read. Because you end up actually walking on eggshells. You don't want to step on that landmine. You don't want to piss this person off. Because you know where it's going. You know where it's going. I'm pretty animated about this one because it actually touched me. It still touches my soul, how this went, and the weaponization of it, and it damaged me. It's got these hang-ups that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with them okay, but obviously if I'm talking to you about it, I still got a couple hang-ups, you know what I mean?
Well, it still connects with you, it still triggers you a bit.
Absolutely. It's very angering to take something that's supposed to be beautiful and feel good and ruin it.
And weaponize it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And use it as a control factor too, because I think the other factor about that is control, is that when you're dealing with this type of situation, it can be very controlling, and that's what it's used for as well, is that I can say this, I can do this, I can create all this friction, I can make you feel super bad about yourself, and then internalize, we're gonna have the sex, but this is me trying to control you as well, to not fight me, to not disagree with me, because I think the other opposite would be, you're right, oh, I'm not having sex with you, and then there's going to be a big fallout as well.
Absolutely, it's one way or the other. And I'm not sure which is worse. I'm pretty sure that the non-sex thing, like the turning it down, is worse because you're going to end up being there anyway. It's a big circle. It absolutely is a very intricate trap that you find yourself in. You're like, well, which way is up and out and where?
And this is my one way out.
Absolutely. And you don't know, like, because that's what's happening in the bedroom. That's a very private, intimate thing, right? So this isn't shit you're going to be throwing around the locker room with your boys.
No.
This is pretty intimate stuff. That where do you go from here? Who do you talk to about this?
Because they're going to be like, what's up, man? You're having great sex. Just let it go or whatever. But it's like, but also at the same time, it's like you don't want to tell somebody, hey, I'm being berated. I'm being put down 24/7 by my wife. And then this is what happens on the back end of it.
It's a tough spot to be in. How do you share that? Like, you can share it, but like, I don't know. It's not something I'm going to be sharing with my boys. Like, hey, I get laid like a porn star.
Right.
And they're going to be like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Right.
You know, what the hell's the matter with you? You're getting laid. Everything from the outside looks good.
Right.
But inside this trap, it's a mess.
It's an emotional mess.
It's a disaster. It's a train wreck.
And that's why, like, in the future, when people are coming out of these types of relationships and you're in the dating pool and you're meeting people, it can be very scary. Are they using this? Are they weaponizing this? Are they using this to control me?
And you just don't know. Look at where we live today. 2023 is a wild spot. All the sex is for sale on the internet and the Instagram and the social media. So if you're out on a date and they're offering sex, you don't know what you're getting into.
Right.
So it's a wild ride.
What's the reason for this? What's the reason for that? And maybe if you feel like it's too soon or whatever, what's going on? Why do they want this? What do they want from me?
This isn't 1950. This isn't even 1980. This is a way different situation. And where you're putting what and who and how. It can be like, it's a different experience now. And does this person, it gets deeper than the sex. We don't need to go into that, but what does this person want from me?
Right.
And are they going to try and damage me? You don't know.
Are they going to turn on me for whatever as well?
Right.
And, and try to victimize themselves and try to make me out to be the perpetrator or the bad person or the abuser or the user.
Right. Not everybody out there is crazy, but once you've met crazy, you won't forget it. You really won't, because it's absolutely wild. Some people got a better radar for it than others, but once you've been there, them flags will show real quick.
And you feel like this whole process, really hurt your identity too in the process of this marriage, right?
Absolutely. My marriage, I lost myself for a number of years. Stuck in this little trap where this one just happens to be about sex.
Yeah, allowing somebody to beat you up, do all this stuff, and then have sex, and then just
everything's
redo it again.
okay.
And they're allowed to get away with it.
That's right. Allowed to get away with it, and it's very cyclical, over and over and over and over and over. And eventually, all the greatest sex in the world and the crazy, wild, feels good, ain't enough to keep you with this person. Eventually,
you start seeing through it.
Yeah, it guts you. The sex has no meaning. It becomes mechanical. At least it did for me. I got to do this to make this person happy, so they'll leave me the fuck alone.
Right. It becomes very mechanical. That's
also, not locker room talk. I'm sharing this with a lot of folks out there. Yeah, I got to fuck my wife tonight. That sounds terrible when I say it like that, but that's how you end up feeling. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have anything to do with this person, but I'm going to do it so I don't get browbeat.
Yeah, it's like it's something that you want to do with somebody that you love, not somebody that you feel is taking you down or hurting you or trying to destroy you.
That's right. It's a tough spot to be, and I made it through on the other side. There's got to be some people out there there's a lot of people out there. There's somebody else dealing with this.
Oh, for sure. And for anybody that's out there dealing with this, which I know that there are lots of people dealing with this, remember that this is cyclical, but also see how this is damaging you. I know that in the process, in the beginning, it can feel good. It can be a little bit confusing, but also kind of stepping back and seeing this as being used as control, seeing it as being used as currency, but also seeing what this person's really saying about you and how they're putting you down and bringing you down, and try to have some sort of separation from that and being able to see the truth about this. Because when somebody does this to you over and over again for a period of time, you start believing it, or you can't put up a fight anymore.
Can I jump in real quick and say, when they say these awful things, they're not joking around. They mean them. 100%. That nasty person that's saying that you're the worst person in the world, at that moment in time, they can come back and apologize later, but they mean what they say. And you may notice some things like dilated pupils, and they are outside their mind. And when they say these vile things, they actually mean them. They're not well. but they mean what they're saying.
So don't sugarcoat it. Don't act like they don't mean it.
That's right.
And accept that reality.
That's right. Because if they're saying these mean things and then they say, "Oh, let's have sex," that just it validates everything, doesn't it?
It does.
They mean every word of what they're saying to you, and that you're the most awful person, and they want what they want at the end, and they get it. It's a trap, and it's a sticky one. But I did it, and somebody else dealing with it. But just watch out if you find yourself in that situation with a woman that you think you're in love with, that is just being nasty, and I mean nasty, like cutting you down, everything about you. Take a step back, take a deep breath, and take a good look at your surroundings and what's going on. That'd be my advice, because it's a hard one to get out of.
Very good advice, Will.
Yeah.
Very good advice. And for anybody that's watched this video, you know, it's up to you to make these changes in your life. And if you're dealing with this, nobody deserves to be told how bad they are and how horrible they are, especially when they're lies. And if we continue to live in this relationship where it is a lie because we're not being honest with ourselves, we hurt ourselves, we hurt our own identity, and we lose ourselves in the process. So hopefully this will help anybody that's watched this video have a wake-up call to realize, okay, wait, this is happening to me. In the meantime, in the comments section, let me know, are you dealing with this? How are you dealing with it? Are you accepting the cycle, or are you standing up for yourself? Have you decided not to have sex, or have you found yourself having even more arguments with your significant other because of your choices? Give us a like on this video if you like this video, and in the meantime, don't forget to live your true life.